Yeah, that's what this story is. Picture this: an entitled HOA president, let's call her Karen because of course decides she's above the law, forges documents to tow off $220,000 worth of classic cars from my garage and thinks she's untouchable. Huge mistake. Because here's the punchline: I'm not just some random guy, I'm a veteran police detective. The cleanup she started, oh, it turned into a full-on felony fraud investigation before she could say community standards. And believe me, karma never looked so satisfying. Let me back up a sec. My name's Mike Harrison. I've spent the last 12 years learning that people show their true colors not through their big wins, but through their biggest screw-ups. That Tuesday morning, I was standing in my detached garage running my hand along the chrome bumper of my '69 Mustang Boss 429 Calypso Coral paint, shining so bright under the LEDs you could check your teeth in the reflection. That garage, man. It's not just a building. It's where three dreams live: the Mustang, a '70 Camaro Z28 with the original Rally Sport package, and a '71 Dodge Challenger RT in plum crazy purple. The collection was worth more than most folks' houses. 15 years of hunting, wrenching, cursing, investing, loving every busted knuckle. Here's the twist: the garage itself is on a slice of land that predates the HOA by, about 15 years. Grandfathered in deeded separate, totally legal. That's why I bought this place. When I set up Harrison Classic Restoration, I filed every permit, checked every box, crossed every T. I ran it straight. But Karen, she wasn't having it. Now, Karen Whitfield had moved in 6 months back, fresh out of real estate, and somehow got herself elected HOA president before the paint dried on her moving boxes. She promised to restore property values and bring order to Pinewood Estates. What she really brought was a clipboard and a mission. 7 notices in my mailbox in 2 weeks, all but accusing my garage of single-handedly destroying the environment. Remove abandoned vehicles, environmental hazard, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that happened. See, after 12 years as a detective, I knew how people like Karen operate: observe, document, escalate, act. I kept every notice in a folder labeled Correspondence, Whitfield, Habit. Because people like Karen don't stop with angry letters, they push, poke, prod, and when that doesn't work, they look for a shortcut. What Karen didn't know: my security setup would make Fort Knox jealous. $4,000 cameras, cloud backup motion sensors, every angle, every second. She had no idea she'd been starring in her own little documentary, 12 drive-bys in a week, snapping pics like TMZ, even a 14-minute tour of my perimeter while yelling into her phone. Stalker vibes, honestly. Would you call the cops or wait to see what she tries? I was tempted to get popcorn. She was plotting, I could feel it. My neighbors just thought I worked for the government maintenance, maybe. I liked it that way. Let them guess. But what they didn't realize is that a detective's main talent is seeing patterns, especially when someone crosses the line from concerned to obsessed. Fast forward, I get called away for a 10-day federal training at Quantico. Phones get surrendered, total digital blackout except for a tiny window on Saturday nights. I mention it to a neighbor thinking nothing of it. But Karen, she ups her game. More photos, more pacing, more fake gardening sessions in the flower bed, anything to keep an eye on my garage. Then Wednesday before I leave, she rings my doorbell over and over, peeks through my windows when I don't answer, and makes calls, no doubt, to my number, judging by her scowl when she hits voicemail. That's when I realize she's just waiting for her window. My garage unattended for 10 days. Jackpot, right? Here's where it gets cinematic. While I'm in Quantico learning about federal evidence procedures, Karen's running her own little operation back home. Monday, after confirming I'm really gone, she launches Phase 2, measuring property lines, photographing every nut and bolt, taking notes. By Thursday, she's printing out forms, filling out paperwork. She's doing her homework, but not for class for crime. Karen's real estate background helps her sniff out a loophole: county environmental regs. She latches onto the word abandoned. See, if a vehicle sits too long with fluids inside, it can be reported as an environmental hazard. And if the owner isn't around to respond, well, that's fast-track city for emergency towing. She thinks she's found the golden ticket. So she builds her case. Fake reports, phone calls to the right agencies, a fake name: Lisa Thompson, property manager. She even sets up a bogus Gmail account to make it official sounding. Monday morning, she dresses up in business attire and spends 20 minutes outside my garage snapping evidence shots. Then she makes the call: Riverside Towing, the company with a contract for environmental emergencies. She signs the official forms as Lisa Thompson, authorizing the removal. The paperwork pure fiction but professional, right down to oil stains and potential groundwater contamination, she points out to the driver. The towing guy, Tommy, does everything by the book. Documents, photos, liability waivers. Karen provides the fake email, and here's where she slips the real phone number I'd been getting her calls from. She watches with pride as $220,000 in cars get hauled off, sure she's won. She files away all her paperwork, ready to prove she did everything by the book if anyone questions her. But the thing about paperwork is it works both ways. And video evidence, well, that never forgets. I get home from Quantico exhausted, but looking forward to getting my hands dirty in the garage. Instead, I'm greeted by empty concrete and the kind of gut punch that makes you see red. My car's tools, everything gone. First instinct is to storm straight to Karen's place, fists clenched. But that blinking red light on my security camera stops me cold. Years of training kick in evidence before emotion. So I pull the footage. There it is, Karen business suit, manila folder, methodical as ever. She signs, she instructs, she oversees every minute in high-def clarity. And there's Riverside Towing's logo and truck plates plain as day. The whole operation gift-wrapped for any prosecutor in the state. Next day, I walk into Riverside Towing with my folder of legit titles and registrations. I play the angry customer. Sometimes it gets you further than playing detective. Tommy, the driver, digs out the paperwork. Who authorized this Lisa Thompson property manager? Never heard of her. I scan the forms, and there it is, the signature I've seen on every HOA notice. Karen's handwriting clear as daylight. When I call out the match, Tommy blanches. He realizes he's been had too. Turns out my cars are still on their lot, awaiting processing. The manager steps in, agrees this is straight-up fraud, and says, "We'll need a police report. But I want to see Karen squirm first." People show you who they are when they think they've gotten away with it. I collect everything. Video fake docs. Legal research Class D felony for identity fraud up to 5 years. Proof there's no Lisa Thompson on any HOA record. I've got a bulletproof case. But honestly, I don't want to ruin Karen's life. I want my cars back, my story told in the community to know what kind of leader they'd put in charge. Justice isn't always about jail, it's about learning the lesson. Thursday's HOA meeting. Karen shows up looking like she's about to accept an award. She opens with a victory speech, problem solved, community protected. I let her bask for a minute, then stand up, folder in hand. Karen, who gave you authority to tow 3 legally registered cars off my private property. Silence. Heads turn. Karen tries to spin it, environmental hazards, community standards, blah blah. I lay out the evidence, her fake identity, her real signature, her calculated timing when I was away. Side by side, the documents don't lie. That's when the whispers start, neighbors checking their phones, realizing Lisa Thompson never existed. Karen's face loses all color. I spell it out, identity fraud, false reporting, felony theft. Her jaw drops. Someone calls for a vote of no confidence. In minutes, she's out as HOA president, her community support evaporating faster than cheap paint thinner. I drop the last hammer. I'm Detective Mike Harrison, 12 years on the force fraud investigation, my specialty. Karen nearly faints when she realizes who she's been messing with. The next day, Riverside Towing brings my cars home, no storage fee, just apologies and a handshake. The community, meanwhile, rallies new HOA leadership, new rules, so this can't happen again. Karen, she's a pariah. Within weeks, a for sale sign pops up in her yard, and not long after she's gone, house sold below market, reputation in ashes. A few months later, I am back in the garage covered in grease when the new neighbor's kids wander over wide-eyed at the sight of classic muscle. Their dad, a good guy, thanks me for what I did, says they wouldn't have bought here if the old HOA regime was still around. And you know what? That meant more than any court verdict. So here's what this whole mess taught me, and maybe you too. Authority without integrity. That's just a loaded weapon pointed at everyone, including yourself. Karen thought the rules didn't apply to her. Turns out the law has a way of catching up, even if it's one patient neighbor and a few security cameras at a time. My car's still shining. The community wiser. And me, I'll keep documenting, keep standing my ground, because bullies back down when faced with the truth. Now let me toss this out there for you. Was justice served, or should I have pushed for Karen to face charges, no matter what? Where do you draw the line between standing up for yourself and letting someone ruin their own life? Drop your thoughts below. And if you've ever had to deal with HOA drama or a neighbor on a power trip, tell your story. I want to hear it. Stay sharp, stay safe, and remember karma's only ever one document away.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.